Good afternoon, all. Okay, today's session we're going to speak about boxing tactics. We'll have three parts. I will start with a presentation, giving a little theory. Then we'll go for some practical. Because of the situation, we have no contact and so on. So it will be a little general. And then we have prepared some videos to show different tactics used in the bouts. Boxing tactics. Tactics is the art of performing a skill in a competition. Basically, how you solve different problems or situations. You can be a very good technical boxer, have a good punches, good balance, but if you don't understand when to use it, how to use it against different types of opponent, your technique will not be of much help. It's very important to understand which situation and how I will solve it the best way possible. Boxing is mostly a tactical sport. Of course, technique and tactics are very much connected, but it's the tactical, the ring IQ who decides the most. When we talk about strategy in boxing, it's more about the general art of projecting and directing. Wait, I can't read here. The plans for the boxers. It's more related to the planning. It's basically what is happening before, how you plan for, coming for the competition. That would be the strategy, and the tactics is more with the bout. Before the bout, what is your tactics, and during the bout. Tactical thinking. The ability to realistically and correctly evaluate the opponent as well as oneself. I have to be able to read my opponent. The ability to instantly recall tactical skills and combinations to be utilized under specific situations. So I recognize the situation and what weapons do I have to solve this situation. The ability to anticipate the opponent's tactics and to counteract them. Yeah, so my opponent will have his tactics and I have to outsmart him and counteract his tactics also. The ability to hide your tactics, which should prevent the opponent from sensing and counteracting the plan of attack. So also I don't show all my cards at once, but also hiding and coming up with some new things unexpected for my opponent. In the tactics, we have the offensive actions, the attack or counter-attack. That is one. Do I want to lead? Do I want to press the action? Do I want to be first? Or do I want to wait for the opponent, to read him, to let him make mistakes? Do I go for, if I counter, am I confident, I am fast, I counter him directly with a punch, or I'm a little bit more safe and do first the defense and then counter from a little more safe distance? This has to do with the offensive actions, which I have to decide how and when to use them. Preparatory actions, feinting with my arms, feinting with the body, with the eyes, feinting with the feet. Sometimes I go for direct attack, but my opponent will start reading me every time I come in with the direct attack. Then I make a feint and make him little off balance or insecure, and then I strike. Drawing. I lure the opponent to punch at an opening. I leave some body part open to the stomach, open here, and when the opponent thinks he will strike, then I'm ready to counter. Defensive actions can be active or passive. Normally, active is the one we want to employ, but not every time it's suitable to cross punches against the opponent, because then my opponent will read me. So sometimes I have to wait for the right movement. So I do my defense, passive, and boom, and then I do an active defense. So I have to also select the right movement to do my counters. Which distance I want to fight is one of the main things within tactics. Do I want to stay far away from a more safe? Can I box there with long punches without risking too much? Should I have a medium distance, be a little closer to the opponent, or do I want to force the bout to be very close? Am I maybe physically stronger than my opponent, and I can press the action and stay close? Maybe my opponent's very, very tall, and I had to go in. The phases of the tactical actions. This is what happens inside the body before we see the action, the punch. What is my response? So we have three phases. Phase number 1A, reception of the information through my senses, the eyes, ears, sensor of the skin. So I sense, oh, there's coming a punch. B, analysis. I search in my memory to verify that I have been confronted with this situation. Otherwise, I will record it. Okay, I see there's coming a punch. I see I analyze. Okay, this situation has happened to me before. Number 2, I seek in my computer bank for the best solution as fast and precise as possible. So I have to take a decision fast. Okay, what do I do? Do I back off? Do I maybe slip and punch? Or do I go for a direct punch? Do I go for a combination of punches, etc.? I see what weapons have I solved this situation before, and I select the best solution. And number 3 is the motoric solution, is the movement of the tactical problem. And this is the only one we see. We see there's coming a left, and we see I reply with the right and left hook. But before that, I have analyzed this situation. I see there's coming a punch. I have decided this will be my reply, because I have probably been faced with this situation before. And if I didn't, now I have done, and this will stay in my computer bank for the next time. So when we speak about tactics, how can we do tactical training? So sparring, we apply the tactics in a situation similar to the bout. In the school fight, we can train in specific tactical situations. We can train against some type of opponent, against an offensive boxer, against a defensive boxer, against a southpaw, and so on. So, or we try to put one situation, boxer A throws the 1-2, and I have to counter that. So that when that situation happens in a bout, I have trained thousands of hours on these situations, and then when the 1-2 comes, boom, boom, I counter fast and hard. Punching pads, the same. Punching pads is not only training combinations, but especially before the bout, if we know the opponent, if he's southpaw, the coach will say southpaw, throwing similar punches, or if he's tall, I can hold the pads higher, shorter, and so on. So here we include the tactical training. School boxing as well. Normally, school boxing, we talk about technique, but same tactics. Okay, this round we box on long distance. This round we box against a rusher. This round we box against a counter puncher, and so on. And the same in shadow boxing. So all this boxing training, we include tactical training. The boxer needs to train to solve different situations. The more situations I can solve, I will be a more complete boxer. This is why it's so important with a competition, because it's not the same to solve the situation on the pads, to solve the situation in the sparring, and to solve the situation in international competition. This is why you can see that boxers, when they come out for the international competitions, meet different types of opponents, get this experience, they improve very, very fast. That's why it's so important to us. Okay, here are some common tactical situations. We'll have a look at that, a little practical. This is general guidelines. When we talk about tactics, I have to start from myself. What are my characteristics? It's good to be able to adapt to the opponent, according to the opponent, but most importantly, it's also to be able to impose yourself, impose your style. Let the opponent care about what is my style. I say, like Michael Jordan used to say, that everybody, they say they have studied me, they have watched my videos. I don't know, I get the ball, and I put it into the basket. So if I have to care about what everybody else will do, then I will have a problem. So sometimes it's better to stick with what you know works for you. Okay, Can we try to show? He's a tall boxer, but not only a tall boxer, but a tall boxer who likes to box at long distance. So he's there, and I am shorter than him, and he's good in that distance. So I will try to come inside. So I'll try to force the action, coming inside. There are many ways for that, but basically trying to get out from the center line. I have to be fast on my feet, coming from the sides here, coming here, and force the bout close. And what I will probably do is, apart from variation prayer, but sometimes if I go only for the head, it's easy for him to just sway back. Just go, I will miss. So little bit, I will try to tire him. I will try to tire him to the body, and then boom, finish up. This is general guidelines against a tall boxer who boxes on long distance. So I have to try to come inside. I have to work my way inside, not starting from too far away, but moving fast here, fast on my legs, go to the body, and finish up. General guidelines. We change against the short boxer. So he's the short boxer, and I am the long boxer who wants to be on the outside. So for me, fast feet, keeping this distance, avoiding staying here too long. If I happen to come here, because that will happen sometimes, just short and try to, as fast as possible, go out to a better distance for me. Against the short boxer who comes in here, what is effective for is the uppercut. So not only straight punches here, because he will be able to read this. So variation of punches, so it's more difficult for him. He will take more risk getting inside. The tempo boxer comes and comes and comes and comes. He's very good. He's very fit, very good physical state, and he knows that. So he wants to try to break me down. So the same. I will not try to stay here for him to come. This will be very tiresome for me. So fast feet, and changing the distance a little bit, because he throws so many punches, so he will expose himself. So I go far away, and when he comes with a looping punch, sometimes I was close, change again, making this, score, punch and move, punch and move, punch and move, and try to lower the intensity. Okay? Because if I move around too much, maybe I will tire before him. Then I'm in the problem. So try to lower the intensity. He comes. I just don't lose too much energy. Let him burn the energy, and then I will be able to read him better. Counter boxer. So now, when I attack, he's very fast. Counter. Boom. Look. So I cannot go blindly here every time I attack. Boom. It's ready here. So what I can use are the feint. I will feint the him, and then counter and follow up. With one counter, he's prepared. But maybe it will be more difficult for him if I follow up my attacks. Here, and try to make him stay as much as possible, because it's difficult for me boxing attack from the long distance, where he reads me, counters me easily. Okay. So once I get into this distance, I don't want to let him go. There, look, I continue, slow him down. Suddenly he will not be able to move as much, and maybe I can fight him on my turn. Also, because he likes to counter, many counter boxers, they are not comfortable in leading. So I can wait for him and be defensive, feinting, and counter. So let me count. He doesn't like, and then I count. So I counter, basically counter the counter.
The Russia. Russia is not a technical boxer coming with a strong feet coming in, but here I will try to move to the side. So when he comes, I don't want to stay there. Fast feet here, move side to side, up. Using side steps, using the pivots, and when he rushes blindly here, look, I am far away. Fast feet, avoid staying here when it comes with the strong punches, but fast feet, side to side movement. Don't get the back against the ropes when he comes in with strong punches. Next boxer, Southpaw boxer. Southpaw, no problem. Southpaw boxer is the same as the right-handed boxer, the orthodox boxer. But just because it's Southpaw, there's not one Southpaw for everybody. Southpaw is just his stance is different, but there are different styles for the Southpaw as well. But what we can say, general guidelines with Southpaw, we have actually a session on Southpaw next week. So we just touch a bit here, but we have a little bit of battle of the lead hand. Who will dominate here? And if he comes here, and boom, I can dominate him on the outside here. So probably I have a good advantage. But what happens? He's not blind. So he will change. And if I step into this punch all the time, I have to do something else. So I will have also to move to my right. When he throws the right, boom, I'm ready to counter here. So there is no one single bout. I will move all the way. It has to be almost stupid to do that. So I will move to the left, but I will also move to my right and throw the right. So I'm ready to counter. I change. I come this from the left, and very effective, my right hand. So I sometimes no need to think about left, right. I want to get my right hand to there, right to the body. Oh, this one very effective. Going up. So let him think also about if he wants to go to the left or to the right. I can stay here and work in and out as well. Okay, so I would say I can go to the left, I can also go to the right, and boom, I can go in and out. Next boxer, puncher. Strong puncher. We don't want to feel these strong, explosive punches. So he throws explosive punches, but he will burst a lot of energy. So what I will try to do is not at low intensity, because intensity is low. If I wait for him, then he can go comfortable there and boom, boom, and load up on his punches. So probably better is to raise the intensity and don't let him be comfortable there loading up on his punches. So I will keep doing this, fast, when he punches, and I am out there, tires a little bit, and I will continue working. Because I can scoring punches, which don't burn so much energy, and then I will take advantage of that.
Little general guidelines. I repeat, most important, I have to take into consideration my own strong and weak points. But generally, we can say like that. This. And another thing, the bout is not the same. First round, second round, and third round. There happens so many things. My opponent will adjust to me and force me to make my adjustments. So this is constantly changing. And for that, we need to have a big arsenal of different weapons that we use in the bout. We will look at some real bout situations where people apply some of these tactics. You see about India versus Mongolia. Red boxer is a southpaw, but mostly He's a long distance boxer. He's Manish Kaushik. This was in the World Championships against Mongolia, strong Mongolian Olympian. And you will see that Manish, he doesn't want to stay too long on the inside, but trying to score with these long punches. Here you will see how he fast back to his distance and scoring from the outside. Fast feet all the time. So the key for Manish in this bout is not take unnecessary risks. He's dominating very well from the outside, scoring, punching, and moving. Boxing, boxing, boxing. No need to risk unnecessarily too much fighting. Manish very good at reading his opponent, and though the opponent is physically stronger, Manish managed to land the more clear punches. And good variation of punches also. Long distance boxer. We'll change. We put, okay, this one is interesting. He's also from World Championships. Red boxer, Kavinder, against a good long distance boxer, also southpaw. Kavinder is shorter. Kavinder, before this World Championship, recently moved up from 52 to 57. And this blue boxer from Finland, he moved down from 60 to 57. Kavinder, in this bout, he's a little bit of a puncher. He's a hard puncher. And he will utilize his power very, very well in this bout. And you see the blue boxer trying to box from the outside, quick feet, quick punches, quick movement. And even though Kavinder is shorter, he has also very, very good left from the distance. So, and he's not only rushing in, he waits for the opportunity, and very good counters. So here the blue boxer, he's forced to be a little more offensive because he's losing the bout. And for Kavinder, it's good because he can wait for him. And he has much stronger punches. It's a good body shot there. Another good counter. So you see, in the beginning of the bout, the blue boxer was boxing from distance, trying to score from the outside. And then when he was losing, he had to press the action a little more, and which was good for our boxer because he's also a good counter puncher. And he used very well the advantage of being the stronger boxer. Okay, here we see we can call him tempo boxer, the blue boxer, Russian Alexander Maletin, who was a world champion and Olympic medalist. He's not very fast, but he puts great pressure on the opponent, very strong, and he goes hard to the body, which you will see. His bout is from the Sydney Olympics, and his opponent trying to box from the outside, but difficult to keep a strong boxer away. So here the blue boxer, he has to impose himself physically. If the intensity will be low, it will be difficult. Here he gets the bout where he wants it to be. He wants it to be a street fight. Second count. Another bout against another counter boxer. Now the Russian is in red. Same Russian, Maletin, against a counter boxer from Bulgaria. Very quick on his feet, very nice movements, very fast punches, good control from the outside. So he has to press the action, otherwise he will lose easily by points. Fast footwork is very important for this tempo boxer. He cannot just go in blindly or slowly with the feet. And he invests a lot on the body punches. And variation of punches, up, down, and down to the liver, and end of the bout. These, of course, very physically demanding to box like that, but if you are physically stronger than your opponent, you can definitely impose yourself physically. Okay, next bout. We look at one bout from World Championships, last World Championships in Russia. And here again, we have one physically strong boxer, Russian boxer, against one box, we can call him long distance boxer, at least in this bout. This one. You see? Blue boxer from England. He's moving, using his jab against the red boxer from Uzbekistan, who tries to impose himself physically. He's very strong, very high intensity, and very rough also. So for the blue boxer, he has to try to stay calm, stick to his game plan, punch, move. Use his superior boxing skills to solve this bout. Yes. GB and Manoj also. Here, variation is very important. If I do the same thing over and over again, at one point, if my opponent is near my level, he will be able to adjust, and I have to start doing something else. If I can do the same thing over again and my opponent never reads me, fine. But probably I will have to adjust a little bit. So same pattern, all 3 rounds, red boxer coming forward, trying to force the fight, blue boxer not giving too much space, but scoring from the outside and moving out just in time. You see, very rough boxer, the red. Here you have to stay cool, cooling your head. And you will see there is one moment you see where it comes a punch clearly off the stop. Look at this now, red, boom. Long way off the stop. These you have to be prepared for in international competitions. Stop sharing. We will look at one last video. Red boxer. I would call him, he's mostly offensive, but I would call him a little bit universal boxer. Red boxer Alexei Tishenko, he was a 2-time Olympic medalist and world champion. He's fighting a Bulgarian in blue. Sorry? Russia. We talked about drawing before, when you try to draw the opponent to hit, score, to throw some punch, and you're ready to counter. You see great balance, great combinations, and slowly increasing the pressure on the opponent, and good variation of punches. There. Okay, this was some examples of different situations which occur in the bout, different types of boxers which are very common in international boxing. And like I said, the bout, the first minute of the first round is not always the same as the last minute of the last round, and there happens a lot of things in between where I need to be able to adjust. One defining thing also is if my tactics are not working, should I be patient and think no, it will work in the end, or I need to make the change immediately. And these things can be very, very tricky. Before, when we had the scoring machine, it was the one who was leading would tell very much how you can apply the tactics. If I am a counter puncher, but I'm 5 points down after the first round, okay, I want to counter, but maybe I have to try something else. Okay, I will have Gupta saying some things also, and we want to give some time for questions. But Gupta, you can start.
Good evening, friends. Yesterday, I was advised by Mr. Sethi, जो भी ये इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं उसको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करें. आज का जो इनका जो लेक्चर था बहुत ही वैल्यूएबल था. जहां तक टैक्टिक्स के बारे में बात की गई है, पहले 3 चीज जो उन्होंने बताया है. ड्राइंग, जब आप अपना कोई टारगेट जानबूझकर खाली कर रखते हैं, वो एक्चुअली खाली नहीं होता, जानबूझकर बॉक्सर खाली रख लेता है. वो आपको ललचाता है वहां पे मारने के लिए, और जब वहां पे मारने के लिए आप आते हैं, वहां उसका डिफेंस तैयार होता है और उस डिफेंस को करते हुए वो आपको काउंटर करेगा. और अली इस क्वालिटी में बहुत ही अच्छा था. दूसरी चीज जो आज संटियागो ने बोलिया बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है अपने बॉक्सर्स के लिए, दैट इज फेंटिंग. अगर एक ही पंच का इस्तेमाल आप बार बार करते जाएंगे, आपका ओपोनेंट और उसका कोच भी दिमाग रखते हैं, वो भी नोट कर लेंगे. तो इसलिए उसी पंच को जो आपने एक दफा मारा है उसको वेरिएशन के साथ मारने की कोशिश करो, उसके साथ अपने दिमाग की रंगत को लेके आने की करो. देन फेंटिंग, फेंट मीन धोखा. धोखा वैसे तो नहीं दे सकते, मीन आपके जो पंच है उसमें क्रिएटिविटी होनी चाहिए. जितना आपका स्टैंडर्ड ऊपर जाएगा उतना ही क्रिएटिविटी आप कहीं और दिखाओ, कहीं और मारो, बॉडी पे दिखा के हेड पे मारा. इन सभी चीजों को खेमानंद और संटियागो ने एग्जीक्यूट करके दिखाया. इन दोनों का मैं बहुत ही धन्यवाद हूं. दूसरा, टैक्टिक्स को सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए दिमाग की बहुत जरूरत पड़ती है. रिंग के अंदर आपका जो दिमाग है हर वक्त ठंडा, कूल माइंड, एक्सरे आइज. अगर आपका ओपोनेंट कोई भी छोटी से छोटी गलती करता है उसको इग्नोर नहीं करना, उसको नोट डाउन करना है. अगर वो अटैक के लिए अटैक करो, अगर आपके ऊपर आ रहा है तो अपने डिफेंस को स्ट्रॉन्ग करो. ओरिएंटेशन एंड एंटिसिपेशन, ये 2 चीज बेस हैं. जब आप रिंग के अंदर खड़े हैं, डम नहीं करना. आपके ओपोनेंट की पोजीशनिंग के, उसकी मूवमेंट से अंदाजा लगाने की कोशिश करो वो किस प्रकार से आपके ऊपर अटैक करना चाहता है. रिंग के अंदर हमेशा इंफॉर्मेशन, करेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन अपने ओपोनेंट के बारे में कलेक्ट करते जाना है. पता नहीं कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन कब आपको फायदा दे देगी, और उसके वो इंफॉर्मेशन दिमाग में जाती है. वहां पे करेक्ट डिसीजनिंग, और अगर आपकी डिसीजनिंग करेक्ट होगी तो आपकी जो वर्किंग मसल को कमांड है बहुत ही स्ट्रांग होगी, और आपका जो एक्शन है बहुत ही सक्सेसफुल होगा. देन साइड स्टेपिंग के बारे में इन्होंने बहुत मिन्यूटली एक्सप्लेन किया. अगर आप रशर के साथ खेलते हैं, अगर आप इसको वैसे भी देखेंगे 76 से पहले जो साइड स्टेपिंग इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं थी. रशियन बहुत रश करते थे तो अमेरिकन दे केम आउट विद ए साइड स्टेप. तो मिस्टर संटियागो हैज वेरी क्लियरली टोल्ड, अगर रशर आता है आइदर मूव टू द लेफ्ट एंड मूव टू द राइट एंड गो विद द काउंटर अटैक. अगेंस्ट साउथपा उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया, बट उसके बारे में बोला नेक्स्ट क्लास एक और है जिसके अंदर वो साउथपा के बारे में देना. स्टेप इन एंड आउट, अगर आप काउंटर पंचर के साथ खेलते हैं, अगर आप उसको भी अटैक करने जाएंगे तो आपके पंचेस उस वक्त आप उसको सेट नहीं होने दा. आप फेंट और स्टेप इन एंड स्टेप आउट. तो आज के जो पॉइंट्स हैं जो मैं नोट डाउन किए थे एज पर द इंस्ट्रक्शन, उन सभी पॉइंट्स को आप लोग हिंदी में नोट करो और जितना भी ज्यादा से ज्यादा है इन चीजों के ऊपर ध्यान देते हुए अपने टैक्टिक्स को अपने अलग अलग प्रकार के ओपोनेंट के साथ सक्सेसफुल करने की कोशिश करो, और ये तभी होंगे जब इसके अंदर 1000 ऑफ टाइम्स आप प्रैक्टिस देंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू सर.
Okay, Kim, we have one question. How do a boxer win if the opponent is more experienced in maneuver slash clever boxing, and what kind of tactics can be applied? So my opponent is a maneuver boxer, clever boxer. What kind of tactics can be applied? Basically, I gotta take him out of his comfort zone. So he's good here, managing here. I want to take him out of his comfort zone. If I do the same boxing and he's more experienced and better boxer, probably I will fail. So I don't know. Depends on what type of boxer I am, but try to break his rhythm physically. So he likes to be here, down, and do some slick moves. Okay, no problem. I will down. I go fighting, break his rhythm, go some hard body punches, and bring his moral down. Many smooth boxers, slick boxers, first round, boom, great control. Once they get a little tired, boom, they go down with the head, clinching, falling down to the floor. So the physically stronger or physically more better endurance can win, despite not having the technical skills and so on. So there are many ways to win in boxing. But if I am facing a good boxer from the who is tack scoring from the outside, okay, I try to impose myself physically and break him down. About this 9 minutes, even if I lose the first round, I will have invested in making my opponent tired, and then I take over in the second and third.
What type of tactics can a boxer do for universal boxer?
What type of tactics can a boxer do for a universal boxer? So the number one, universal boxer is just a word. There is nobody who, it sounds like it's unbeatable. If he's unbeatable, why do I step into the ring? No. So universal boxer means that he can adapt to different situations or different type of boxing. He can box different ways. But maybe he can box in 10 different ways, but I can box in one way, but maybe my way, boom, I'm very specialized in that. So I stick to that, and I can win the bout. So it's very general. But if I am good at what I'm doing, I would do that. I wouldn't bother about the universal boxing.
What is the difference between free fight and sparring?
What is the difference between free fight
and sparring?
Free fight. I don't know, because one thing is the bout, the competition. That is one thing. Sparring is training. So if you mean free sparring or sparring, for me, sparring is not 100 because the adrenaline is not there, but I do my utmost best and we go hard. Usually we have bigger gloves in the training, but otherwise our sparrings is like you look at it and it's the same as a bout, with the difference that there is no adrenaline there. And if there is a difference between the two boxers, yes, then it stops being free sparring and it will be more of a controlled sparring.
If both boxers are southpaw, what can we do? Should do defeat them? Both boxers.
If both boxers are southpaw, it's the same as in if both boxers are orthodox. What is for the southpaw boxer? Sometimes, if he's not used to another southpaw, they're sometimes a little more open for the right hand because that one comes from a different angle. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same.
In a competition, a boxer won the first round by 0.50. Then the same boxer lost second and third round again by points. What can be the possible reasons so that the next competition should not be repeated?
It's a very, very general question. In a competition, a boxer won the first round by 5-0. The same boxer lost the second and third round by points. What can be the possible reason? So it should not be repeated. It's impossible to say because it depends. Can be. I started very well, but so in my mistakes, and the boxer took advantage of them or made the adjustments, or simply my opponent was better from the beginning. I had to give it all in the first round to win the first round, but I burned so much energy, so I have not much left for winning the second and third round. But I did manage to win one round because I boxed very well in the first round. But maybe my opponent was, the normal thing would have been that he would have won the 3 rounds. So it's a little bit general question, but obviously can happen that we are the good boxer, we are the better boxer, and we win the first round. And in the corner, like, okay, we're all happy, don't continue doing what you're doing, looks good. And suddenly, boom, second round, hey, bout changed. The opponent made adjustments or just one punch, boom. I'm controlling totally, boom, I can read, and suddenly you get one punch and it can change the whole course of the fight. It's there are so many possibilities, so I cannot say something, okay, this is the mistake.
Can you please elaborate the difference between tempo and Russell boxing?
Okay, good question. Can you please elaborate the difference between tempo and rusher boxer? So the rusher boxer, I used to call it slugger. So for me, Gupta, you tell me if you have a different, but for me, the tempo is the high intensity boxer. So high intensity, like this Russian Maletin who put pressure. Rusher boxer or slugger is a more limited skills boxer who comes with wild swings and easier to outbox. The tempo boxer, high intensity boxer, just because he's high intensity boxer does not mean that he cannot box. The only thing is he's so well trained, confidence in himself, so he applies high intensity.
So, Mr. Santiago explained it very well. These are the terms. Slugger is the very old term, which is followed by 40 years back when a boxer was boxing with it. Then it came to a rusher. Those who were having a very limited repertoire of the punches. But tempo boxing is a slightly polished from the time of Joe Frazier, a person who is having a very good quality of endurance and speed endurance. ये वो बॉक्सर करते हैं जिनके पास बहुत ही अपने शरीर के अंदर खजाना होता है इंडोरेंस और स्पीड इंडोरेंस का. उनका होता है भी इतना अटैक करो, करते जाओ और करते रहो जब तक ओपोनेंट छोड़ नहीं देता. इट वाज once upon a time one of the best strategy of tempo boxing. What you know, each model and any model can beat any model. तो इसलिए जरूरी नहीं है उसको आप फॉलो करेंगे, but if you have the quality, follow it. So these are the old terms which are followed and changing from time to time.
Difference between counter boxer and puncher boxer. So the puncher is a hard puncher. It's a knockout. We used to call knockout boxers, but now because there are hardly any knockouts, so we call it a puncher or hard hitter. So the hard hitter, boom, boom, hits explosive and hard with every punch, because they load on the punches. Sometimes the rhythm is low, because they need some time to accommodate themselves for the punches. And the counter puncher is totally different. The counter puncher is waiting for counter. So feinting, making the opponent lead to strike, punch and move, punch and move, punch and move. There are different type of counter punchers, of course, but basically that's the stereotype of the counter puncher. If we look at the Kavinder bout from the World Championships, you can call a puncher. His punches, when he scores, boom, the opponent feels them. His opponent, he felt the punches many times. And Kavinder, he was shorter and he tried to press, but sometimes maybe he comes off balance, and he's very good at reading. And if the counter puncher is a strong puncher, it's very good also to be a counter puncher. A counter puncher who has a strong punch is very dangerous, because You attack the counter puncher, boom, boom, and he's waiting for you. That is very effective. And we saw in the Kavinder bout that a couple of times when the opponent came in, boom, boom, he just met him with very strong punches. Yes, I see a good question here. What if my opponent is a hard hitter and has a very good shell guard defense, and I'm a counter puncher? What strategy should I use? Kima, come, we will make a demonstration.
And he comes forward with a very close guard. And if I punch here, I'm punching only on his gloves, and finally he will be able to catch me with some hard punches. So what I have to do, I have to spread my punches. I have to make it difficult for him to read. So if I only punch here, he will read me and boom, go hard to the body. So I will throw some light punches, boom, and change. Change here and change there. Change here, boom. Spread the punches and mix some light, boom, with some hard. Light, boom, hard. And change the angles and quick feet. Don't give him this opportunity to go in with his strong punches. So light, boom, hard, and change. Boom. Change the angles, variation of punches, mixing light and hard punches, generally speaking.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, last. In the case of beginners or intermediate, how to identify in which style or type my boxer will fight better? Very difficult to say. They have to explore themselves. Let them explore, that they will find what suits them, or you will see if the boxer is taking punches all the time when trying to box one way. We have to tell him try doing something else for some boxer. But if you're talking about beginners and intermediate, so they need to in the school fight, you one round, okay, you're defensive, one round you're offensive, one round you're boxing on the close range or medium range, one box in the long distance, and so on. So you put them in these different situations, so they learn to manage different situations, and from that they will go in this direction or in this direction, what suits them better. Suggest some tactics with switching angles. Okay, yeah. So changing angles. I said it a little bit against the Russian boxer. Move from side to side. Don't stand still. Don't go in one line, but use different angles to come to the side. We will look at that because it's a complex question. But I will say like this: switching angles, changing stance, finding angles from the side. I consider it important. It's good for the boxer to have different weapons, but some boxers, they hardly use. They box short here, in and out, tuck, good control, and they don't come from any fancy angles. If you look at Lomachenko, for example, now one of the best boxers and two-time Olympic gold medalist, he's great at switching angles, coming in from the side, and so on. But there are boxers who they don't box like that, and they still can be very effective. But yes, I would say it's an important part of the boxing to be able to surprise, not standing in the line of fire all the time, but attacking from different angles.